its main points. So for those now, I want to ask a question. And who can give me another example of geospatial data sets? Just one example of geospatial data sets. I've mentioned address. Who can give me another example of geospatial data sets? You said? Eh? An example of geospatial data sets. One example. So this is the data set. I know it's a data, but example now, you can't just say building. You put building on the software, not
coordinates.
Skyscraper. When I say building skyscraper. You said?
Coordinates.
Coordinates, thank you. You said? I mean, so the wrong answer.
No, coordinates.
Coordinates is an example, yes. Longitude, latitude is an example of the special data set. Okay, just to give us more example. Coordinates is an example. Reading an existing map with grid is an example. Okay. So let me not waste too much time on that. Okay. So we have why GEO AI matters. One of the first things you will notice about GEO AI is climate change. These are examples of case studies that you can implement, especially in Nigeria. Imagine you have a climate change that already collects a lot of data and it can predict. I don't know if you know or you know windy.com. Who uses windy? You can tell if it's going to rain. You know on Google Map, I don't know if you've tried it. Try it on Google Map. You can tell the traffic of Monday on Google Map. You can actually tell. So AI has been existing, but it does that ChatGPT exposed it. Even in ArcGIS, AI has been existing. The same way you do your all those Lancer data sets for land use land cover. Okay. Another example is smart cities. We have security, infrastructure, environmental management. Now, these are the components I want to mention. When you talk about GIS or GeoAI, you can't just talk about GeoAI without referencing GIS. Now, for GIS, we have components. One of the things that makes up GIS, the hardware. Without the computer, you can't use GIS. Without your system, your phone, your tablet, or any hardware, you can't use GIS. Then you have data set. Data set are an example of what I mentioned. Then you have software. Then you have procedure, you have the team, and you have license. These are the combination or components of the GeoAI with GIS, sorry. Then you have the evolution of geospatial analysis. Now, you notice in the olden days, we have the transition between mapping. They make mapping with tape. You use mapping with all this compass. You use mapping with all this bearing and tripod and all those things. But now you make a lot of mapping with GIS, okay, with the software. Now, I'm telling you that they do mapping with AI. Just ask your question and it will complete all the results for you. The next one is the data source. The explosion of data source, you have drone. This is where drone. We'll talk about GIS. We'll talk about the combination of GIS and AI. And you now see where drone, GIS and AI. It's all about data source. It's about to capture data. So the information you capture from your drone is what is used in the software. So you have mobile sensors, you have CCTV, traffic sensors. These are all assets. The third one is automation. This is where the AI now makes meaning. After mapping your software, you now do automation. Now, one thing in life, especially with human beings, I think they won't allow human beings to be walking at all on the ground. You understand? I'm even scared. If I tell someone to write proposal, I'll be thinking, how will this be? It is very alarming. So now, automation is one thing that people producing cars, producing your handsets, there's a lot of automation. It reduces risks and a lot of things. Okay? So now we are going into drones, UAV, RPS, SMAV, MAV, ETOL. All these things, they all mean drone in those cases, okay? But I will explain why they are different, okay? So we have, what exactly is drone? Drone is an unmanned aerial vehicle or an aircraft that operates without, you see anybody inside that drone. You will see all this in Dubai, you see some people, all this vehicle vehicle taking people, and you call it drone. It's a drone, it's not a drone. Alright? So basically that one is another thing. You can call it maybe manned area vehicle. You understand? So anything that can be operated without anybody being inside remotely is referred to as a drone. Now, driven instead by remote control systems. Now take the word of systems. Now, if you have a drone as it is like that, or a UAV, let me use the word UAV. Just the drone alone, that's the body of the drone. Without the controller, it's called UAV. Most cases, it's called UAV. When you now combine the drone and the controller with software and other things, it's called UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicle systems. All right. So that's when it is flown autonomously with a software or hybrid of both. Now it's controlled remotely by an autonomous system with an engineering, aeronautic engineering, robotics, AI, GPS, and remote sensing. We are going to be displaying one of the drones that has AI embedded in it. I'm surprised at it. There's a drone that we have that we're going to display. It has an AI inside it. So what the drone does is, let me not tell you, so when we display it, you'll know what it does. All right, so we have LiDAR and other things that you can add to the drone. You have area mapping incorporated with AI for obstacle avoidance. You see all those obstacle avoidance, autonomous lights, flight time, all those analysis. It does everything on its own in most cases. Okay, we have types of drones now. For every type of drone, they are used differently. You know that you have this type of drone now. This is a predator drone. In most cases, they call it UAV because of the size. All right. You can't use this type of drone flown inside here. It will be more convenient for you to use this type. Do you understand? Now you see the advantage of the smaller one to the bigger one. Do you get me? So if for those that are into real estate, you want to fly a drone, you want to buy a drone, you are now being motivated by somebody that you see his drone is very big. But when you now get to indoor flying to capture a real estate property, you now be flying your drone. It will not make sense. You understand? Those type of drones are flown outdoor, especially offshore, that are very heavy and can sustain the weather. Okay, we have other drones that are called payload drones, or in most cases they call them helicopter drones or multi-rotor drones. There are different names for them. Okay, those ones that are used to carry extra payload, like LiDAR system, use them for other things. All right, then we have the VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing. The combination of VTOL is very, very, should I say, very, because the disadvantage of the fixed wing came up with the advantage of the VTOL. The disadvantage of the I'll tell you something. You notice that most drones with the hexacopter, okay, or payload drones, it takes, they don't last long on the air. You notice they don't last long on the air because it makes use of about 4 or more rotors while it is flying. So it makes use of its wings to sustain the air. So those ones, they go very far. So they combine this one and this one to form the VTOL drone. So now the VTOL drone traveling the rotors off automatically while it makes use of its wing. It just need its external radio to travel fast so you don't lose your drone. Alright? Why you can't turn at a spot? You understand? You can't just turn at a spot. You have to make a U-turn, a very wide U-turn, and maintain that same course. Has its own advantage. So you can activate the multi-rotor while at a spot and make a U-turn. Although it will not be too sharp, but it's very easy to make a U-turn compared to this. Then we have the predator drone. Then these are other recommended drones and their surveillance. For those that are in Port Harcourt, raise up your hand. Are in Port Harcourt. Thank God. So we don't have Niger Delta boys here. So for those that are in Port Harcourt, a lot of them make use of these guys here. Alright, you have the first one, it's a very popular drone, that's the Skyway Max Hybrid. This drone makes use of both lithium batteries and fuel. The same fuel you put in your vehicle, you can put it inside this drone. Okay, so, but it's just that you can't take it to the police station and pack it, you get it. You can't just pack it like that and put. So there's a way you pour the fuel inside, and it makes use of different sensors. So this weighs about, you can go as far as 150 kilometers, you understand, and it weighs It can carry a payload of 115 kg, and the speed is about 100 km per hour. It works both day and night, and it weighs 65 kg, the drone itself. And its water resistance, it works with LiDAR, RGB, IR also for thermal, and has autonomous flight. Why the second one is called Tekeba? Tekeba is a kind of, it's not so popular, but it's a crazy drone. It's also recommended. It works with both electric and with fuel. And this one can last about, on the air. While the second one can last about 20 hours on the air. Okay? Anybody asking for the price? Nobody even ask for the price. Like you just want, let me just slide it.
Very cheap. Very cheap.
Let's just slide it. So you don't never can tell you can buy it. It's not that expensive. So how much? How am I to guess? $500,000.
Lie.
You know that $500,000 looks more than 500,000. You know this. So $500,000 might look bigger. Which who wants to guess the amount? 40 million. One five. This is the place price.
60.
So like this, the average cost of this will cost about, let's say, $150,000 to $200,000. So you know how to convert it. So that's for the first one. Why the second one can cost about maybe 200 to like 300,000. Yeah. Okay. So this one has a lot of other extra stuff.
That's why when you
So this one is very popular. You always see it in Nigeria, although it just came out this year. This is the Matrix 400. It's a DJI drone. Okay. This one can last about 59 minutes. It makes use of lithium battery. For this one, in case you don't really have one, you can make use of that. Now, going to the next case. We're talking about different terminology. I'm going to rush this case. So now, drone is a common word used for commercial drones, and it's also a French word to define a drone or UAV. Okay. Why the RPAS? Anytime we hardly hear people call the drone or UAV RPAS. They are mostly called in the aviation industry, like the NCA. If you go to NCA now, you don't get a license. Most of them refer drone to RPAS. Used to describe an aircraft itself. That's the unmanned aircraft system. Then we have number 4, the micro air vehicle. Most people refer to smaller drones to micro air vehicle. That's the MAV. Then we have, the second one is MAV. So they refer to them 1 kg. You understand? Then when you have the SUAS, small unmanned area vehicle, 25 kg. You understand? Some people will just want to professionally refer to them as that. Then we have number 7, the UAV are mostly referred to drones weighing more than 25 kg. Refer to them as UAV. Alright? Now, there are no fly zones. A lot of people make mistake while flying their drone. You have no fly zones. It's not everywhere you can just fly your drone. You have a drone doesn't mean that you can just take it up and fly it. Even if you have to fly it here, you have to, in most cases you have to take permission. Now, one of the places you don't fly your drone, number 1 is the airports. You don't fly your drone close to the airport. DJI has already given